David Shaw here with another off-the-record story. If you want to learn more about Washington, D.C., come visit my site, offtherecordtours.com. Let's go. In a previous episode, we visited the memorial to the men who died on the Titanic. Today, we visit a memorial to two prominent Washingtonians who went down on that ship, Archibald and Francis Millet. Congress passed a resolution authorizing the construction of this memorial on the ellipse near the White House. It's sculpted by Daniel Chester French of Lincoln Memorial fame. Ostensibly, this memorial was erected because both men were government officials. Butt was a military aide to Presidents Roosevelt and Taft, and Millet was vice chair of the U.S. Commission on Fine Arts. But there's more to the story than that. Archibald Butt was from Georgia. He went to the University of the South and was Washington correspondent for several Southern newspapers. In 1900, he joins the Army and proves to be a very able officer in the Quartermaster Corps in the Philippines. When he's ordered back to Washington, President Theodore Roosevelt asks him to be his military aide. The two become fast friends. They go hiking and horseback riding, swimming, play tennis, but transforms the tedious White House receptions into orderly, enjoyable affairs, and this is much appreciated by Teddy. When Roosevelt turns over the White House to William Howard Taft, Taft asks Butt to stay on to handle the military social side of the House. However, it turns out Butt is a good deal maker, and he knows the federal budget. So he becomes Taft's go-to person for budget negotiations. Francis Millet was an accomplished artist and more. A Harvard grad, he painted murals at Boston's Trinity Church. He was a reporter for the New York Herald during the Russo-Turkish War and was decorated by Russia and Romania for his services to the wounded under fire. He was a trustee of the Met, one of the founders of the Boston Museum of Fine Arts, and if that isn't enough, he translated Tolstoy and wrote short stories. Millet was also close friends with Augustus Saint-Gaudens and Mark Twain, both of whom attended his wedding to Lily Merrill in Paris. Twain was the best man. And here's where things get interesting. Francis and Archie lived together in a mansion at 2000 G Street Northwest, which Millet owns. They threw lavish parties that were attended by members of Congress, Supreme Court justices, even President Taft. Archie called Francis my artist friend who lives with me. Mrs. Millet and the three children lived in the family home in Italy. These two are one of Washington's early examples of don't ask, don't tell. They were both admired personally and professionally by Washington's insiders, and everyone knew the nature of their relationship, but no one made a big deal about it. By the end of Taft's first term, Archie was exhausted. Taft orders him to go on vacation, and he and Francis take a 6-week trip to Europe. They book return passage on the Titanic. Taft was devastated at the loss. At the memorial service, he broke down and cried. He couldn't finish his eulogy. A story in the Washington Times gently alluded to Archie and Francis's relationship when it wrote, "The two men had a sympathy of minds which was most unusual." Well, I hope you enjoyed that off-the-record story. If you want to learn more about Washington, D.C., things seen and unseen, arrange your tour of your nation's capital at offtherecordtours.com. Until then, I'm David Shaw.